Amish life operates with clockwork precision, not because of strict rules or harsh enforcement, but through tiny habits repeated so consistently they become invisible. These 10 small behaviors, each taking less than 5 minutes, create the structured, predictable rhythm that characterizes Amish households and prevents the chaos that plagues modern families. Dawn rising. Every Amish adult wakes at virtually the same time daily, between 4:30 and 5 a.m., without alarm clocks, negotiation, or internal debate about whether to get up or sleep longer. This isn't discipline requiring heroic willpower, but automatic habit developed through years of consistency. The body's circadian rhythm adjusts to consistent wake times within 2 weeks, making natural waking possible without mechanical assistance. Modern people struggle with mornings primarily because wake times vary wildly between weekdays and weekends, preventing circadian alignment that would make rising effortless. Amish households operate on the principle that whoever wakes first begins the day immediately, no lingering in bed, no scrolling phones, no gradual transition. Rising means feet on floor, moving toward first task. This immediate action prevents the snooze button cycle that modern people battle. The first person up lights oil lamps throughout the house and starts the wood stove fire, creating warmth and light that gently wake other family members. The entire household transitions from sleep to wakefulness within 15 to 20 minutes through this consistent pattern. The habit structures everything that follows. Consistent wake times create consistent morning momentum that ripples through entire days. Morning prayer. Before any food enters mouths or work begins, every family member gathers for morning prayer. This 2 to 3 minute ritual happens at the same time, in the same location, following the same format daily without exception or negotiation. The father leads without variance, sometimes speaking prayers aloud, sometimes observing silent prayer where family members pray individually while gathered together. The format matters less than the consistency. Children know exactly what to expect and what's expected of them. Quiet attention, respectful posture, participation in the family's spiritual centering. This tiny habit creates massive psychological effect. It transitions everyone's mental state from sleep-focused to purpose-focused. It reminds family members that their first allegiance belongs to faith and family rather than individual wants. It creates a brief moment of unity before the day scatters people to various tasks. Modern families that skip morning rituals often describe their days as feeling chaotic from the start. They rush from sleep directly into demands without any centering moment that aligns priorities and creates mental readiness. The habit takes 3 minutes maximum, but structures the entire household's mental and spiritual approach to the coming day. It's not the prayer content, but the consistent gathering that matters structurally. Immediate bed making. Amish children and adults make their beds immediately upon rising, with no delay, no returning to unmade beds, and no leaving the task for later. This takes 2 minutes maximum but creates disproportionate structural impact. The habit serves multiple purposes beyond simple tidiness. It represents completion of the first task of the day, creating accomplishment momentum. It eliminates the temptation to return to bed during morning hours, when motivation might flag. It creates visual order that influences mental state throughout the day. Children learn this habit from ages 4 or 5 through daily modeling and gentle correction. Parents never make children's beds for them. The expectation remains absolute and non-negotiable, teaching that personal spaces require personal maintenance regardless of feelings or motivation levels. Modern homes where beds remain unmade until evening or not at all create a subtle psychological burden. The visual disorder registers subconsciously as an incomplete task, draining small amounts of mental energy throughout the day. Multiple unmade beds represent multiple incomplete tasks, creating background stress. The Amish prove that the specific task matters less than establishing a pattern of immediate completion. Bed making becomes a representative habit demonstrating a broader principle. Tasks get done immediately when they're supposed to be done, not when you feel like doing them. This fundamental attitude creates structured life. Meal timing. Amish families eat at precisely the same times daily, with variation measured in minutes rather than hours. Breakfast happens at 7 a.m. sharp. Dinner occurs at noon exactly. Supper appears at 5:30 to 6 p.m. consistently. This rigid timing seems unnecessary to modern people accustomed to eating whenever hunger strikes, but the consistency creates profound structural benefits. The entire day organizes around these three fixed anchors. Morning work happens from 7:30 until noon. Afternoon work runs from 1 until 5:30. Evening activities begin after supper. No one snacks between meals or grazes throughout the day. Hunger doesn't dictate the schedule. The schedule accommodates natural hunger through predictable feeding times that bodies adjust to within days. When you eat at noon every single day, your body begins signaling hunger around 11:45, regardless of breakfast size. The gathering itself matters as much as the timing. Every family member appears simultaneously. No one eats individually at different times. This creates three daily touch points where the entire household connects briefly, even when work keeps people separated otherwise. Modern families eating at wildly variable times and rarely gathering together miss this structural benefit. The meals provide rhythm, but the consistent timing and mandatory gathering create structure. Chore assignment. Every household member from age 4 upward has specific daily chores that never vary and never require assignment, reminder, or negotiation. The tasks happen at the same times daily through pure habit. A 7-year-old boy feeds chickens every morning at 6:15. A 10-year-old girl collects eggs every afternoon at 4 o'clock. A 14-year-old son helps with milking every morning at 5:30 and evening at 5:30. These responsibilities don't change based on mood, weather, or competing interests. The habits develop through consistent repetition over months. Initially, parents remind and supervise, but within 3 to 6 months, the chores happen automatically. The child simply does the task at the designated time because that's what happens at that time, no different from brushing teeth or eating meals. Modern families that assign chores randomly, change assignments frequently, or allow negotiation create constant friction. Children resist because expectations keep shifting. Parents exhaust themselves through constant reminders and enforcement. The Amish approach eliminates this entirely. Chores aren't punishments or occasional expectations, but permanent habits as automatic as dressing. The specificity matters. Feed chickens at 6:15 works infinitely better than help around the house because specific actions at specific times create automatic behaviors while vague expectations create confusion and resistance. The cumulative effect. Household maintenance happens automatically through distributed microhabits, requiring no central coordination or enforcement. Work boundaries. Work begins at precisely determined times, typically 7:30 to 8 a.m., and ends at equally specific times, usually 5 to 5:30 p.m. These boundaries remain inviolate regardless of workload, season, or competing demands. The start time creates automatic transition. Morning routine completes, work begins, no gradual ramping up, no checking various things before starting, no delaying until motivation strikes. The time arrives, work commences. This eliminates the modern problem of preparing to work, consuming hours that could serve actual productivity. The end time proves equally important. When 5:30 arrives, work stops. Tools get cleaned and stored. Workspaces get organized for tomorrow. The transition to evening happens completely, allowing genuine rest rather than the half-work, half-rest state that characterizes modern life where work thoughts intrude on evening hours. Amish farmers working outdoors don't wear watches but develop remarkable time sense through routine. The sun's position, hunger cues, and internal clocks calibrated through years of consistency allow accurate time estimation without mechanical devices. The psychological impact proves substantial. Work happens during work time with full attention and effort. Rest happens during rest time with complete mental disengagement. Modern people who work whenever they feel like it and rest whenever exhaustion forces them often accomplish less work while enjoying less rest, because neither happens with full commitment. The boundaries create structure that both work and rest depend upon for maximum effectiveness. Evening assembly at a specific time each evening, typically between 6:30 and 7 p.m., the entire family gathers in the living room or kitchen for 1 to 2 hours of collective activity. This isn't negotiable or dependent on everyone's preferences, but expected participation in family life. The activities vary slightly: scripture reading, singing, simple games, conversation, letter writing, handwork, but the gathering itself remains constant. No family member disappears to individual rooms for solitary entertainment. No screens isolate people while occupying the same physical space. Children know exactly what to expect. When evening hour arrives, they naturally gravitate to the gathering space because that's simply what happens at this time. The consistency eliminates resistance. It's not presented as special family time requiring enthusiasm, but as routine reality of daily life. Modern families attempting occasional family nights often face resistance because the unpredictability makes the gathering feel special and optional. Children accustomed to autonomous evening entertainment view mandatory gathering as imposition rather than normal routine. The Amish approach makes family time the default rather than the exception. The structure creates connection that seems effortless because it's deeply habitual. Nobody decides whether to gather. Gathering happens automatically at the designated time, just like sleeping happens automatically at bedtime. The habit prevents the gradual family dissolution that occurs when individuals drift into separate activities every evening. Bedtime precision. Children's bedtimes remain absolutely consistent regardless of day of week, season, or circumstances. 8 to 8:30 p.m. for younger children, slightly later for teenagers, but the timing never varies by more than 15 minutes. The preparation routine stays identical nightly: wash face and hands, brush teeth, change into night clothes, use the bathroom, get into bed. The sequence takes 15 to 20 minutes and follows the exact same order every single night from age 3 onward. Parents' bedtimes similarly maintain consistency around 9 to 9:30 p.m. They complete final household tasks: banking the fire, checking doors, extinguishing lamps, in the same sequence nightly. Modern families with variable, negotiated bedtimes create nightly battles. Children whose bedtime varies between 8 and 10 p.m., depending on parental mood and energy, never develop the automatic transition that consistent timing creates. The Amish prove that bedtime consistency eliminates resistance. When bedtime happens at 8 p.m. every single day for years, children's bodies prepare automatically. Melatonin production increases, tiredness arrives on schedule. The transition from wakefulness to sleep happens smoothly because circadian rhythms align with the consistent schedule. Modern parents often describe bedtime as warfare. Amish parents describe it as routine transition, requiring minimal effort because habit does the work. Clothing simplicity. Every Amish person owns multiple identical outfits. Women have 3 to 4 dresses in the same style and designated colors. Men have several identical shirts and pants. This eliminates daily "what should I wear?" decisions that drain mental energy before days even begin. Clothing gets prepared the night before, hung or laid out in specific locations where dressing happens each morning. The 5-minute dressing routine requires zero decisions because there are no choices to make. Laundry happens on a fixed day, traditionally Monday for most communities. Every family member knows that Monday means clean clothing appears in designated storage locations. The predictability creates structure around wardrobe maintenance that modern people's sporadic laundry schedules lack. Everything has a designated storage location. Dirty clothes go to specific hamper, clean clothes return to specific shelves or hooks. The automatic return maintains organization without requiring conscious effort or periodic reorganization sessions. Modern people often underestimate how much mental energy getting dressed consumes when it involves evaluating dozens of options, considering weather and plans, coordinating pieces, and storing rejected choices. The Amish eliminate this entirely through standardization that preserves decision-making capacity for matters that actually warrant it. Sunday separation. No work happens on Sundays, period. The absolute prohibition creates a weekly rhythm that prevents burnout while providing a guaranteed rest day that structures the entire week.